Watching tips videos will not improve your running. Now, let me tell you a story about when I went to the high altitude training in E10 in Kenya. I met this one elite runner called Sina Betsy, and I asked her to go on just an easy 10K with her, and she agreed. I went on the easy 10K with her, and it was great. She was doing a half marathon at the time, around 21 kilometers, but I just stopped halfway and jumped in the car and watched her go the rest of the way. She was in a group, it's a group running, and it was woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning to go on this particular run. Now, during the run, I didn't really have the chance to talk to her about running, but after the run, we met up for some drinks, and I asked her about best ways to improve running, best ways, what are the best tips and tricks to get my running to the next level? And she looked at me as though I was an idiot. She said to me, there are no tips and tricks to running. 2 plus 2 cannot equal 8. 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. Plus 4 will always equal 8. You only get what you put in. What you practice is what you will receive. Now, when you actually think about tips on improving something, yes, the tips do work, but the tips come from people who have done the work and found things that are easier for them. Now, when you actually do think about it, for example, Eliud Kipchoge, Kenegise Bekele, Kelvin Kiptum, all these guys, do you really think they went out to find these tips and tricks videos to improve their running? No. What they did was action. What they did is they went outside and they ran and did it again and again. They put the repetitions in. They put the work. And what came after that was them becoming some of the fastest elite long distance runners of all time. Also, when I talked to her, I wanted to see what her training program was like, how much she ran per week. And she showed me her personal training plan on her phone. And I looked at it and I was amazed by it. She ran twice a day. And at that time, I couldn't believe that you could run twice a day. I thought you had to run one day and then you had to rest. But that was not the case. On her rest days, she ran once. And I was just, what? I couldn't believe that at the time. I can't just show in this video. I'll put her training plan as a link in the description. You can go and just download it, absolutely free. It's right there. I'll put it as a free PDF. Now, what I identified from this training plan was the fact, just 3 things that are so essential for you to improve your running. These 3 things cannot be ignored to improve your running. These things are a must-do if you want to be a better runner, improve your running, transform your running. Now, the first thing, one of the most important things is endurance training if you're doing long distance running. If you're doing running, this is what you should be doing. It's so obvious. If you want to improve your 5-kilometer time, you will have to do endurance running. You will not improve endurance training by swimming. That's just not the case. If you want to improve the thing that you're doing, practice the thing that you're doing. Very simple. Now, when I talk about endurance training, more specifically, I'm talking about long runs. Now, slow long runs are quite easy to do. Most people do them. It's basically just jogging really slowly. It's things like 8Ks or 12Ks, 15, whatever, 20. Basically, running long distances. But some people do it in minutes, like 30-minute runs or 1-hour runs, 2-hour runs. But kilometers is much easier to digest. Now, what you do in these 8K, 12K, 15, 20K runs is you run at a pace that is very slow. It's really simple. Slow pace, slow long. This is the pinnacle running. This is the most basic when it comes to running, to training. And also running is about practice. And this is what you have to practice. In fact, it actually covers the majority of your training. If you recognize Signer Betsy's training plan, which is down in the description as a free PDF download, as I said before, you'll notice that her runs will be something like 12k easy or 8k moderate. These are long slows, moderate, easy, and you will see how her training plan is just filled with them, the majority. And I would probably say around 70 to 80% of her week. Most elites' weeks will be filled with long, slow endurance runs. Now, what I've just said is completely obvious. You should know this. I've told you something that you should already know. Now, the second thing that is most essential when it comes to long distance running and improving your times, transforming your running, is, yes, speed training. And this would cover something like 30% to 20%. Now, speed training includes things such as interval repeats and also 200 meter, 400 meter repeats. And that is what speed training would entail. And it is as important as endurance training. And most people will probably skip this part, especially for people who think it's not needed. Oh, I don't want to run faster. Oh, it's difficult for me. I only do endurance running. Now there's a problem with this. Speed training actually makes your running much easier. Now you're probably not going to believe me, but for those of you who run a bit quicker, will understand that slow running is actually very difficult. In fact, if you want to lose your weight with running, slow long runs will make you lose weight. It is the best way to lose weight because it's more difficult than speed. And when you're able to develop your speed training, your running becomes easier because you end up running more efficiently. Now, there is a reason as to why you must, in every week of training, must have endurance plus speed training. And with a majority of, let's say, 70% and a 30% every single week. You should never go for a week where you're doing 100% of endurance or 100% of speed. Now, why, you may ask? Well, I've actually tested this out. I went for a whole week of just doing endurance, slow, long runs. That helped with my endurance. It massively helped my endurance. I felt as though I could run forever. But what happened was when I went on race days, if it was like a 5k, 10k, what I noticed was I could run for a very long time, but not very quickly. I just didn't have that speed in me. It's almost as though I trained my body to run, but at the same slow pace and not at the speed that I wanted to. And it was actually more difficult. I hurt more when I was training more endurance. But the thing is, it's the same the other way around, but just a little bit different. So vice versa, speed, I did a whole week of speed training. And funnily enough, it's quite obvious, I was able to gain a lot of speed. In my runs, I could do a 2k really quickly. But the issue with doing like a 5k, for example, or 10k, is I could only maintain that good speed for 2 kilometers. And then my abilities in running would go down. I would almost burn out to the point where I would think, how is this possible? That's because I didn't include endurance. So when it comes to training, you should not focus 100% on endurance and focus 100% on speed. There should be a mixture because that's how you improve your running. Long distance running should always be endurance, speed, majority endurance, and some of it speed. You're getting this from an elite runner. This is exactly what elite runners do every single week. They always do majority endurance and minority speed. That's just how training works, and it's been working for many, many years. Kipchoge does this, Kenegise Bekele does this, Kelvin Kipton did this, even of course. And now there is one more thing that I haven't mentioned here that most people actually forget about when training running. And this thing is one of the most important. This thing in particular will get your running from stagnant or plateauing to getting full fitness. Basically, reaping the full benefits of your endurance and speed training and putting it into full effect, putting you to peak fitness. And what professionals do about this is called tapering. Now, if you don't know what tapering is, it's something that the elites do about a week or 2 weeks before race day. Now, what tapering is where the elite runner will decrease their mileage for the weeks coming up to the race. So instead of doing, let's say, a total of 120 endurance and let's say 40 kilometers of or 40 miles of speed, what they will do is they will decrease it from 120 to 60 and 40 to 20. Basically, they'll half it. And the closer they get to the race day, they will decrease it to the point where, let's say, a week before, they would run only around 2 to 3 times that week. And the couple days before the race day, they will rest. They won't even run. They will sit down and completely rest their legs. And what that does, stop their bodies from gaining that lactic acid from the training, and it will help them recover. And what that does is it builds the muscle that they've been working on and training on. So when it comes to the race day, they are at peak fitness. So in simple terms, what they're doing is resting. Now, your body works really well when it comes to resting, because sometimes because if you keep training every single day for months and months and months and don't actually have any rest days, what your body does is it does build the muscle, it does build the endurance, but not to the full potential. It's building muscle and your endurance and your speed up to around 60% of its potential. Only 60%. Because you keep working on your muscles, they're almost getting overworked. And sometimes what can happen, you can overtrain and it can get you injured, and that will not be good for your running. Now, what happens when you rest is you tap into that 40% that is pivotal for your running. This is the reason as to why on race days, they are at peak fitness every single time. Because of their rest, they tap into that 40% from resting, because that 40% is from lactic acid buildup and the training that their body can actually rest and recover and gain and build. And so that's why you should not watch tips videos to improve your running, and instead what you should do is take action and go outside and run and learn these tips yourself. Get these tips. Be that person that is able to tell other people, hey, the best way to run is this. Oh, when I started running, this is what improved. The only way is by taking action. And if you want to improve your running today, you can go down below, hop on a call with me one-on-one, and I can guide you, almost holding your hand to improve your running forever. I can transform your running. But if not, then I'm always dropping gems on this channel. I will always be providing the best information for running. Great video. I hope you do like and subscribe and do comment. That helps the channel with the algorithm and things. So I appreciate you watching this video, and bye.